Hello, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Sangeeta. We are just waiting to be joined by Meha, and then we'll kick it off. Hi, all. I hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. There's Meha. Unable to join. All right, I'm going to disconnect real quick. I'm going to check in with Meha to find out what happened, and we'll be back. Stay tuned, guys. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we fixed it. I think we fixed it. Hi, Meha.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Instagram is real finicky. Sometimes like it's seamless, doesn't have an issue, and then sometimes it's like, nope.
Haven't done lives in the past 2 years. I think you can tell.
No,
I don't know where to go.
thank you so much for joining. Hello, everybody. My name is Radha.
Hello, everyone.
My name is Radha Patel. I'm the founder and CEO of Single to Shaadi. We are a South Asian matchmaking service based out of the US, and we work with singles all over US and Canada. I am so excited to be joined today by Meha of Styl Inc. Meha, welcome. Thank you so much for coming today and sharing your time with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Meha is a personal wedding stylist
Hmm.
who opened up my entire eyes like into this universe of personal wedding stylists, virtual and specific for Desi brides around the diaspora. So when I first met Meha, I was like, I've got to dive in because being in the diaspora, we know how important our fashion is when we're going to not even attending weddings, but hosting our own or having our own celebrations.
Absolutely.
Where you come in. So welcome, Meha. Tell me a little bit about yourself and Styl Inc.
Okay, so Stylic is all about wedding styling and personal shopping, like you rightly described. We help specifically internationally based Indian brides shop for their wedding. So either you could be virtually shopping with us or you could be coming down to India to be shopping with us. So either which way, our services are virtually as well as based in person.
Okay, so I remember when I got married. We're talking way back in 2009. And back then it was WhatsApp, and my cousins in India would like they'd go to the store, or like I'd send them pictures from magazines. There was no social
Hmm.
media back then. And it was just so disjointed. It is now 2024. What has the world come to? Like, just a quick peek into how Style Inc. helps these women all over the world in a seamless way.
You know, so that's what you rightly pointed out. So social media, it could be a boon and a bane because right now, well, the brides are so exposed to anything and everything. Gone are the bole chodiyan phase, but now is I mean, fashion is at your fingertips. So the brides that come to us are so overexposed. They already know what they want. In fact, they are like spoiled for choice. So they have everything. And then it is, I mean, the onus is on you as a stylist to bring in all together. Because as a stylist, we would know what works for you, what doesn't. Trends is something that not everybody can, take in. So how does one take in the trend and work it towards, your body, your color, so all of that. So take the trend and just, work it around for you specifically. So that's what a stylist would do. And that's what we would do. But so basically clubbing the whole exposure to giving it a direction.
I love love that. So obviously this is something that's much needed. That's why you're the best at what you do. Please, everybody, check out Styl Inc's and, Instagram account. You can just see her amazing work and all the different
Thank you.
samples. But Bea, how did you get started? How did you come up with this idea? And again, I said, mind blowing. I've never heard of this before.
Okay, so I think way back in 2018, no, 2017, actually, to be honest, my first bride. Now we had already started doing this. I mean, I was doing image consulting before, so personal shopping was always a part of this. But 2017, I decided, okay, you know what? I want to do weddings because it's a little more colorful than corporates because I was doing corporates back then. I already started pitching this idea to different brides and grooms in the country. Slowly, figured out it's not going to work in this country because everybody knows everything and they're super exposed regardless. Turns out, twist of fate or whatever. So my bride from Toronto, she's like, I'm a teacher and I can't come down to India. You help me. You figure out everything. I need an outfit. So I was like, okay, fine. Let's just do one outfit at a time and then let's see how it goes. Twist of fate, whatever it is, I got the whole family. I did her entire wedding wardrobe, her trousseau, all of that. And then I was like, okay, let's just pitch it to the people who need it the most. So people based in US, Canada, Australia, UK, wherever you guys are coming from, who actually do not speak the language. The second, third generation of Indians who don't speak the language really well. You are exposed to, how do I say, Netflix shows and everything, but that's
not the real culture.
It's probably not.
Yeah.
It's probably not. So when it comes to when you come here, it's like a root shock. Like, you're like, there is so much out there. There is so many designers. Every day there's somebody mushrooming. I mean, pretty much every day, so someone's social media is really good. So you're just like drawn towards it. They may not have the substance, but you're just like drawn towards that particular designer. And then you're like, have you known this one? Have you known that one? So basically it's just that, clubbing all of this together is what we were offering, and then everybody loved it. I mean, they really find the substance in it, and they're like, we can't do this without you. So that is a sentence that I'm always waiting to hear. We cannot do this without you, and that's it. I'm just like, successful wedding.
Honestly, because we've seen in the diaspora, right? They see wedding planners, they see this, like all of this is evolving, but the style aspect is still just randomly left on the bride to figure out, right? Like,
yeah.
But wedding planner, like if you have a theme or a color sim palette or whatever, how does that extrapolate into your fashion and your style? How does that work with all of your different events? Is there coordination? Yeah. So they need your help to do this.
Correct. Absolutely. So sometimes, nothing against the planners and the decorators. So they tend to give us like this color palette. May not work for the bride, may not work for the groom's coloration either, but we're just given that. And I'm just like, did not need this, but let's just work around your outfits first. Ask your decorator planner to hold on a bit. Let me get your outfits ready and then you work around it. So that's the best case scenario. I mean, I love working with that. But when you come up with a palette, then I have to work around it. How much degree of a red can you carry? How much degree of a blue can you carry? So when I get red and a blue as a color palette, I'm just like, this is like the most cliched color palette, and I have to work around it. So maybe like, degrees of reds or degrees of blue. So I need to, I figure that out, educate the client a little bit, this is what you need to be working with. Not everybody wants to be a red bride these days. I mean, back then everybody wanted to be a red bride, but now everyone's like, I want to be a yellow bride or an ivory bride or
last year, right? Or last 2 years
ivory.
is like year of white.
Yeah. I'm very careful not to say white. It's always ivory because the mothers get upset.
Right.
So it's always ivory.
Oh, sorry. Not white.
It's always ivory with some hint of some gold champagne or something going on. So, everybody's happy.
But Meha, what I'm hearing is that it sounds like you get engaged, you hire a planner, you hire a stylist.
You hire a stylist. Yes. So if you are working with us virtually, then I would suggest getting in touch with us 8 months in advance, because 1, 2, 1.5 months, we only do research, understanding you, because we're not seeing you personally, right? So, and we're not even talking to you so much. So 1.5 months to 2 months, I only dedicate to research, knowing you, understanding you, where your personal style lies, what do you like, what do you not like, budget. It's very important. It's extremely important. And sometimes I say, disclaimer, it's your money. You don't have, I mean, I don't have to tell you how to spend it, but it's always important to let me know what your budget and how much can you expand it. You know, I don't want to underwhelm you, and I don't want to overwhelm you with choices, because virtual shopping is very, I mean, we don't have the luxury of going to every store like you would do in a personal shopping scenario. So I have to like really filter down your choices and show you only those things which would be relevant to you.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're open to me with your budget, perfect. Then we've hit the nail right on the head. Otherwise, it's just we can keep going and on about shopping, and then we will never find anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned like, ABCDs like myself. There's us in the diaspora. We know our culture, but we don't know the intricacies. And nothing ever comes out more starkly until you get to like a wedding or a ceremony.
Correct.
You mentioned a word that I would love for you to clarify before I jump into our next discussion point. But you mentioned you help women set up their trousseaux. Can you clarify
Yes.
what it is and why that's culturally significant?
So trousseau, okay, so right after you get married, trousseaux mostly do with brides when in India, but obviously it's also catching up back there in the West as well. So once you get married, so the pujas, the things that you get invited for by your friends, family, relatives, lunches, dinners. So you basically need to have at least, how do I say, 10 to 15 outfits. I mean, here I'm talking about India. I'm not talking about the US here, but 10 to 15 outfits which can be mix and match so that you can, maximize your wardrobe in a way. So that becomes your trousseau. So you don't have to keep buying new stuff. You already have those things with you. So a sari or, a very heavy dupatta, which you can probably wear it with a simple suit. So these kind of things become your trousseau. It's just an extension of your wedding wardrobe. Yeah.
And I think it has a little bit of why I mentioned the traditional element is I learned, right? Like it's when you're sent off, it's part like it showcases like the wealth that you're bringing to the family as well. So that gets me to my point. You mentioned being based in India, you're able to have that pulse on the traditional elements that maybe we're forgetting. So
Correct.
what are some things? Don't wear white. What are some easy things that you've noticed that maybe us crazy people over here just don't even think about when it comes to
Color. Color for sure. A lot of people, just because of the trend, or maybe being very, very different, they want to choose something very outrageous as a color. So that is one. Finding that particular color, so people will come to me and say, I would like a coral or maybe, a salmon or something, but I will not find that right color. Not very many designers will make that. So color is one. And then the other thing is the churas and the kaliras. So you don't know how many color choices you have, so, and you have, I don't know how long you want to wear that chura for, which I obviously ask the bride. So the quality and everything also needs to be considered so that you don't get a rash.
Oh yeah.
But there's so many color options in a chura. We can actually customize the color of the chura. Kaliras. Kaliras, like you can go as personal as your wedding initials, your dog, your, I don't know, mom,
Personalization. Wow.
anything. You can get all of that in the Kaliras, So yeah, I mean, those are something that I can think of. But yeah, just tying things together, like trying the modern with the traditional. And yeah, I mean, most of the time the mothers are always educating us as well as to what happens in their culture, because every family is different.
Every
But
culture. Go
it
from
is
one to
different.
the other, they have different rituals.
Oh yeah. You could be Sikh, but then you have this tradition for a Sikh. You have that tradition for a Sikh. These days with this Gurdwara, mandate, you can't show skin, you can't show some sort of, I mean, there are limitations, so we have this Gurdwara mandate from a Gurdwara in California. So, when we get an encouraged bride, we always ask them, are you going to be getting married in a certain, Gurdwara who has a mandate? Some don't, so we need to be very careful with who we're dealing with, what we're dealing with, and work in that parameters.
I completely agree because there's so many nuances, and in our culture, just being South Asian
Yeah.
in general,
Yeah.
people take things the wrong way, whatever. And you have this amazing reputation that you've built in just a short time through a pandemic. Like it is a testament to how much you care about everybody's culture and what's significant to them in this special time in their life.
I mean, COVID was the best time, I would say. We did two weddings and we did the whole family, but we dedicated ourselves in doing those two families, you know. So they were so up in awe with the fact that being in the whole pandemic situation, we were still helping them out, you know. So we were very careful, but we did those quality weddings, and then post COVID was like a revenge year, I would say. Like everybody was getting married, so we were just stormed. Like 2 years of 22, 23, it was crazy. Everyone's
All
getting married.
weddings.
Oh, it was mad.
Along though, I would love to hear some more kind of like either outtakes or funny moments, just like behind the scenes of what it's like to be a style working with Meha at styling.
Um, I tell my team also, like uh, I mean, not to be snobbish or anything, but once the bride comes in, the whole scenario is like, oops, you fell. Okay, back here. Um, yeah, so once the bride comes in, we document everything, and it's all fun and games and everything. And then once the bride leaves, it goes out of my mind. So we document everything on a Google spreadsheet so that it's basically for me. Like I need to get back to the notes when I'm going back for quality checks or when they're coming for fitting. So bride comes in, she goes out of my brain because the next one needs to be accounted for. So
Full attention, exactly. And I see the same
full
thing with,
attention,
right? Like
horse burns.
a client or whatever. Like that's my chance to get to know you, and I want to
Yeah,
give you full attention.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So horse burns completely, like, but each bride is so different, and I am so lucky, knock on wood, that each of them have been so nice, supportive, everything, like regardless of whatever the situation is, they know that we have their back, so that kind of trust is difficult to build, but I am so glad that they have that on us. And I mean, we'll make things happen. Like right now, we're working with this family. The wedding's in June. I mean, there was some situation with the whale, So all I said was, just give me some time. I'll figure it out. And all she said was, I trust you, you know. And I was like, I'm gonna sleep well tonight, just because, I will make it happen. I mean, it's it's a done deal. I will make it happen. Just give me some time. So that's the end all be all. I trust you. That's pretty much
Your
it.
service promise, and that's the reason you've built this amazing business, is because the proof is in the pudding.
Yes.
People trust you, or they respect like your authority. Like just for us talking, I've heard so much about this experience that I would have never learned, and that's why people go to you, because you have that knowledge base. It's amazing.
I mean, we built it.
We've hinted around a little bit about like what is personal styling, what is a virtual assistant. Maybe take us through. You were mentioning you meet with your bride. It's an 8-month process. High level, what would be the best way to engage with you, and what is a quick overview of what the process looks like?
Okay, so I'll tell you how virtual looks like. So like I said, I mean, come to us 8 months in advance because, I mean, the earlier the better. Because designers then love you. I love you if you give us enough time to make your outfit. So the minute I say the wedding is 4 months in advance, I mean, in the future, the designers, I mean, the store people just turn on like, oh, thank God. And then sometimes they're like, when is the wedding? When is the wedding? So so when I say in 2 months, they're like, oh no.
Can I ask
So
quickly, what would be the reason that somebody wouldn't hire you in enough time? Like, is there an example that somebody would be last minute?
uh right now I'm dealing with two, three last minute brides, which I'm hesitant to take because that's a lot of headache and anxiety. Because once they think that they've hired us, we will make things happen. But sometimes to make this happen, my team just has to go through so much. Every minute call, the designers get angry, we get, anxious that it's not happening. What if something goes wrong? So I mean, there's a lot of anxiety. So we don't necessarily take that. But if we do, and if it happens, maybe the brides, I mean, they just got engaged real quick, wedding real quick, because of the venues, because of multiple reasons. But I would say, I mean, yeah, my team members just like last minute shopping is very stressful. It's great.
Right. In anything in life, right? Last minute is very stressful. And I just
Yeah.
want to add one point that money does not solve everything. I think you would
No,
agree with me. I get this
no,
also on my side of the business where they
no,
think that,
no.
they have some arbitrary deadline. And with you, there's a real deadline. With me,
Yes,
it's an arbitrary deadline. Oh, I'm turning 30. I'm going to give you X amount of dollars. Go find me a partner. It just doesn't work that way.
it does. It's exactly like that. Like, here is X amount of money. Go find me the best lehenga ever. You know, I mean, one of my client had rightly said that, and it stuck with us. And every time, my team wants to say something, like, "Don't throw money at the problem," you know. So people are just like, here it is, and find me something. But I tend to shy away from such clients, and when they're saying, okay, we have just 2 months, I let them know you have to be open to off the rack pieces. No one's going to make a new thing for you. And off the rack, 100 million people have worn it. I never want to propagate them, but if that's the only option, then that's the only option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 8 months out, we hire you. You do
Yes.
the planning meeting initially. Then what happens?
Yes. So the research happens, we narrow things down because, like I said, we don't have the liberty of walking into every store. So we narrow things down. So if you have 3 events, we'll have at least 3 to 4 designers. 4 is also an outreach, but 2 to 3 designers per event that we need to show you. We plan an itinerary. Now we work out of Delhi, like I'm based out of
Oh,
Delhi, my team's based out of Delhi. So, and blessed we are that everything is available in Delhi, so anything and everything. So yeah, we have 2 to 3 options or 3 to 4 options per event. We show you those based on a certain itinerary that we follow. So location-based itinerary. So in one trip, we can probably show you an option for Sangeet as well as your wedding. If the stores are close by, we might as well take the time and do that. So once you've done that, then I come in and measure you personally. All this while my team's handling everything. I take care of the research aspect. I measure you myself, and I think I have a 99% success rate in terms of measuring you properly. So yeah, I mean, someone has to be there with you on your side, but I'll probably measure you completely. Give it to the designer, have the outfit in production, you pay for it and all of that. And then 2, 3 months, whenever the outfit is ready, we do a thorough quality check. We measure the garment inch by inch on a flat surface, which nullifies the fact that it is definitely going to, I mean, 15% is the gray area where it might not, but 85% will definitely fit you. And then we idiot proof the garment, hook size, this, that, everything, so that you don't have to go to a tailor to get anything done. So yeah, and then once the garment gets approved from our quality check, then it's off for shipping. So yeah, that's that in a nutshell in terms of virtual. But when you are coming in, that we, let's just say 3 to 5 days of shopping, like pure shopping. So no rest, just shopping from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. till the time the store people ask us to leave or get out, actually, in the better way.
I would say for most NRIs, that's like our experience with shopping in general because we only
Yeah,
have a week to shove it all in. But the
correct.
difference is you have the itinerary pre-planned
Correct.
and you're not wasting
We're
time.
not
We're not wasting time
wasting
getting
time.
by at these
Not
shops.
at all. So efficient way of shopping, so even if you want to look into that store, I'm just like, do you need that store? Does that follow any part of your theme? No, then move on. So I am very blunt that way when it comes to shopping. Like, be honest, stick to the plan and move on. Like, so if I have 10 designers, we have to finish those 10 designers in that one particular day. I'm not coming back to this location. So very efficient, very strict, but efficient.
It has to be. It has to be. And I think that, like, again, just being the ignorant NRI that I am, that we really do need a local on the ground just to like kind of help navigate and efficient, like you mentioned,
Yes,
make them better our time.
yes,
So
absolutely. That's what you get with us.
I have a couple more things I want to talk about.
Yeah.
If anybody has any questions for Meha, please drop them in the chat. We would love to address this. As I mentioned, is a new kind of concept for me.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's other people out there too that have questions.
Yeah.
How does it work now when, okay, we talked about the bride. Now, how does it work when somebody's like, no, Meha, I need you to do my mother, my brother, my father, like the whole bridal party? Would things change in your process at that point?
No. So the only thing that changes is that actually it doesn't change, but priority is the bride. So once the bride's all her outfits are done, all the color palettes are sorted, then we start working on the mother, the father, the sister, brother, whoever that is in the family. If the groom is also doing this with us, then the bride and the groom are a priority, then trickles down the rest of the family. Uh, it's on the bride. She wants us to follow a color palette for each event, we'll do so. But mostly it's just with the wedding day, because the pictures need to look cohesive and all of that. Sometimes reception, they want to go jewel tones, so everybody in jewel tones. So those kind of things. And then jewel tones also, people have a limited understanding of jewel tones. So just those two, three colors, the emeralds and the sapphires. But there's so many. There are so many. Champagne, silver, amethyst. The list just goes on and on and on. So basically, being a stylist, you can always widen the bride's horizon and say, okay, there is so many other options that you can choose from.
Yeah. Well, speaking of widening the horizon, the last kind of topic I wanted to get into is you started out by being a personal stylist. And
yes.
When you meet with brides, you work with them for months and months at a time, you must know them pretty intimately. They must develop a rapport with you.
Yeah.
How do they continue to be a part of the Styl Inc. universe or utilize your services and inspired by you even after their wedding day?
That's a very tricky question because once you're done, once you're married, you have nothing to do with me.
Okay. So
So,
let's say I'm hosting, and I'm just talking to them about myself. Like I'm hosting an anniversary party or something, and I want to look styled for me. Would you be able to do one-off events? Is what I'm asking.
of course, of course, of course. I mean, we have a relationship with each one of our brides. So when I say you have nothing to do with me, it's not that. I mean, you might have a sibling, or you might have someone else in the family, or your friends, or somebody. So most of my brides, I'm very thankful again. They tend to. I mean, word of mouth, so if you've done this wedding, then all her friends would like to, get styled with us and things like that. So that's when the relationship keeps continuing. But otherwise, one-off event for sure. Like, why not? We've done anniversary events of, our clients, our brides,
I
their
want to
families.
hire you. I'm not getting. I want to be just styled by Meha, right? Like,
For sure. So we had this sister of the bride. So she hired us thrice. So once she was fully pregnant for her sister's wedding. So we had to like take into consideration the growing belly, and then I mean just 2 3 months later. I mean once the delivery happened, then we had to take care of that body of hers. So the varying body structures in a way. So this is one example where you can have three stages of your life and still have us still shop for you.
that's beautiful. Well, everybody always jokes that the baby shower is the final aspect of the wedding, right? Like,
Yeah.
we have a great question here from Sony. She said, have you ever had a bride that didn't like any of the options you presented? And how do you deal with picky brides?
Well, our main job is to align ourselves with what you like. So your personal style is forefront, not mine. I mean, I might have a very, very different aesthetic from what you do. However, the beauty of our job is to align with what you like. So it's never ever happened that I am completely on the opposite ends of what you're liking. So yeah, I mean, that's when it comes to the research stage where I give you the first tips on telling me what you're liking. So I have a certain understanding, okay, this is what your aesthetic is. With experience that comes through that, you know what works, what doesn't work, and then I tend to widen your horizon to what is right now in trend, what all designers are doing right now. So you might like this, fine, but I would like you to see this. If you still don't like it, we will go back to it, find a happy medium between the two. So it's never really happened that they don't like, but that is why the back and forth of the research happens, that okay, you get the first test, I then say something, and then it's almost like a chess game, like your move, then my move, and then your move, and then my move. So at that point, the shopping time, we are very aware of what you want, what you like, what you don't like, so we're never making any mistakes that way.
It sounds like with virtual styling, just like with matchmaking and dating, you got to know what you want. You got to do the
Exactly.
research before you execute so that we don't have
Absolutely.
a regrettable situation later in life.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The minute you hit the ground, you need to know what you're doing. Otherwise, it is a downhill. It
Yeah.
legit is a downhill. Like we really need to be prepared.
Maya, it has been such a pleasure chatting with you and
Thank
getting to
you.
know a little bit behind the scenes in your business. How can prospective brides, family members of brides get in touch with you? And again, any last words of wisdom for all of us out here?
Well, it's very simple to get in touch with us. You just have to email us or DM us on our Instagram. We send you like a list of questions because, like I said, I am very shy of taking in brides who just have 2 months in advance. So I tend to ask all the questions before I get on a call. So I get on a call with anybody. So be it 15 calls a day or 30 calls a day, I do it myself. I never have a first person doing it or one of my team members doing it. I tend to talk to my brides myself. And taking us on or not taking us on, that's a different thing altogether. But whoever's spoken to me I mean, up until now, they know for a fact that I take the first call. It's never anybody else. So that is something I've maintained. So email us, DM us. That's the easiest way. And we're pretty much present and responsive anywhere on every platform. So I don't know how to give you the DM information
No,
or
I'll say too is that, and remember, folks, she works in the diaspora. So that means their team is working 24 hours a day.
correct,
You can reach out
correct.
anyway, and we'll put all the information kind of like you can, especially the DM and stuff with us. You can reach out to either of
Yeah,
us. But I just want to say, like, from all of this, I really feel that you guys are the experts. And if we want to alleviate the stress from this one major aspect of planning,
absolutely.
it is worth linking up with you guys and just putting our mind at ease and making and knowing
Absolutely.
amazing event.
Absolutely. And with your platform, I would just like to say that, a lot of brides are very shy or actually very apprehensive on the shipping aspect. Sometimes shipping get lost or whatever. So I don't know, I've never heard of the shipping getting lost or anything of that sort, but we follow like this DHL, FedEx, and all sorts of, trusted shipping agencies. But many brides tell me, at least 80% will tell me shipping gets lost. So I want my outfit at least a month in advance. I'm like, why? I mean, it'll reach you in 5 days. I mean, why do you need it a month in advance and then stressing the designer to get the outfit ready in time or much before time? So I would like to say there's nothing wrong in the shipping process. I mean, it just needs to be the right person, right way to ship it. That's it.
Yeah, I think it might have been like post COVID, all that log jam and all that.
Even before that,
Yeah, but
even
that
before
was
that,
long. We're back to normal now. Yeah,
it's
and
never
last
been the
thing I
case.
will say, just being Desi, I know a little bit of this is that kind of like expectation
Yeah,
factor. If we push her, then she is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but I think
yeah.
the bottom line is we have to trust you. You are an expert, and you've proven to us, and you've shown it to us. So I know I'm ready to trust you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, man. We'll
It
talk.
was a
Thanks
pleasure.
everybody.
Pleasure talking.